Welcome to mathematics class, trigonometric ratios, part 7. Domain and range of trigonometric functions. Sine function, domain is minus infinity to plus infinity. That is the set of real numbers. త్రికోణమితీయ ప్రమేయాల ప్రదేశాలు వ్యాప్తులు. సైన్ ప్రమేయానికి ప్రదేశము వాస్తవ సంఖ్యా సమితి. వ్యాప్తి -1 to +1. So domain for sine function, domain is set of real numbers and range is -1 to +1. For cos theta, cos function, domain is a set of real numbers, range is -1 to +1. For both sine and cos, the domain and range are same. Domain is set of real numbers, range is -1 to +1. Sine cos ప్రమేయాలకు ప్రదేశము వాస్తవ సంఖ్యా సమితి, వ్యాప్తి -1 నుండి +1 వరకు. దీని ఈ ప్రమేయం యొక్క విలువ -1 +1 వరకు ఉంటుంది. వాటి మధ్యలో మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది. -1 కంటే తక్కువ ఉండదు, +1 కంటే ఎక్కువ ఉండదు. The values of sine and cos functions cannot be less than -1 and cannot be more than +1. So the values lies in between -1 to +1. So this is the range of sine function and cos function. And the domain, the theta can take any number. Theta is belongs to set of real numbers. So domain is set of real number. That angle can be any number, any real number. So the values lies in between -1 to +1. So for sine and cos, this is the domain and range. For tan, the domain is r minus 2n plus 1 pi by 2. So r is set of real numbers. So excluding, except 2n plus 1 pi by 2, where n is an integer, that is r minus pi by 2. So sine 90, tan 90 is not determined. So for 90 degrees, tan is not defined. And also 3 into 90 degrees, that is 270 degrees, also tan is not defined. And 5 into 90, also tan is not defined. In that way, 2n plus 1 pi by 2, 2n plus 1 is an odd number. If you take n is equal to 0, it is becomes 1. N is equal to 1, it is becomes 3. N is equal to becomes 5. So for odd number multiples of 90, the tan is not defined. So the domain is r minus 2n plus 1 pi by 2. And the range is set of real numbers, -infinity to +infinity. Cot theta, cot function, the domain is r minus n pi. For n pi, cot is not defined. That is, if you take n is equal to 0, n is equal to 1, it is 180 degrees. Cot 180, not defined. 0, also not defined. And 180, 2 into 180, 3 into 180, 4 into 180. For all these angles, cot function is not defined. So cot function domain is r minus n pi and range is set of real numbers minus infinity to plus infinity. Sec theta, sec function is not defined for odd number multiples of 90 degrees. That is 1 into 90, 2 into 90, 3 into 90, 5 into 90, 7 into 90. So r minus this odd number multiple of 90 degrees. So range domain is r minus 2n plus 1 pi by 2. And range, so 1 is not included in the range. Except 1, the set of real numbers. So except 1, r minus 1. Cosec theta, r minus n pi domain. And range, this is except 1. So 1 is not included in the range. So these are the domain and range of trigonometric functions: sine, cos, tan, cot, sec, cosec. Now let us look at sine function. Look at the sine function. This is sine minus 2 pi, that is minus 360 degrees. Sine minus 360 degrees, the value is 0. You take the graph paper and point out the values. Sine 360 is 0. And sine minus 360 is 0. And minus 270 is plus 1. Sine minus 180 minus 5 is 0. Sine 90 is minus 1. So this is sine 0 is 0. Sine 90 is plus 1. Sine 180 is 0. Sine 270 is minus 1. Sine 2 pi, that is 360, is 0. So these are the points. So this is 0 and this is plus 1. This is 0 and this is minus 1. This is 0. This is plus 1. This is 0 and this is minus 1 and this is 0. So this is 1 and 1. This is minus 1 and this is also minus 1. So this is 0. You can clearly observe the graph. Graph lies in between plus 1 and minus 1. This below line is minus 1, above line is plus 1. This is the range of a sine function, 1 to minus 1 to 1 minus 1. It cannot go beyond 1 or minus 1. Below minus 1 and above plus 1. This cannot go. That is why the range of sine function is minus 1 to plus. So the values lies in between minus 1 and 2. ఈ ఒకటికి మైనస్ ఒకటి మధ్యలోనే విలువలు వస్తూ ఉంటాయి. కాబట్టి సైన్ అండ్ కాస్ రేంజ్ ఏంటంటే minus 1 to plus 1. Graph, you can sketch the graph, and by seeing the graph, you can analyze the sine function. The range is in between minus 1 to 1, and the values from minus 1 to 0, 0 to 1, again it comes, the values will be repeating. So this is the sine graph. Now look at the cos. Cos graph. minus 2 pi, that is minus 360 degrees, value is 1. This is at this point, value is 1. And minus 270 minus 3 pi by 2 ante minus 270 degrees. 390 ante 270 degrees. The value is 0. So you can point out 0 here. Minus 180 minus 1. So this value is minus 1. And minus 90, this value is 0. So these are the zeros. And 90, 0, cos 0 is 1. So this point is 1. And 90, so again cos 90 is 0. 180 comes down, again minus 1. 270 again it is 0. And 360 again this is 1. You can observe this also, graph lies in between minus 1 to plus 1. పైన minus 1 కు కింద minus 1 కు మధ్యలోనే ఈ కాస్ట్ గ్రాఫ్ కూడా వస్తుంది. So this is the range is minus 1 to 1, and the values you can first mark the values 1, 0, minus 1, 0, 1, 0, minus 1, 0, 1. Then you can join them, you will get a cos graph. And tan, look at this. Tan minus 360, the value is 0. So this point is 0. Minus 270, this is going infinite. And minus 180, again this point is 0. And minus 90 going infinite. And 0, tan 0 is 0. Tan 90 infinite. Tan 180 again it is 0. Tan 270 infinite. Tan 360 is again 0. So the tan graph minus infinity to plus infinity it reaches. So the range is minus infinity and plus infinity. So this is tan. And cot also similar to tan. It is also minus infinity to plus infinity. Minus 360 infinite. Minus 270 is 0. And 180 is also infinite, minus infinite. And 90 is 0. 0 is infinite. 90 is 0, this point. And 360 is infinite, 270 is 0. So the range is minus infinity to plus infinity. This is cot graph. Look at this sec. Minus 360 is 1. This is 1. Minus 270 is infinite. Minus 180 is minus 1. So this point is minus 1. And 9 minus 90 is infinite. 0, this is plus 1, this point. And 90 is infinite. 180, this point is minus 1. సో ఇది 1 కు పైన -1 కు కింద వస్తుంది. పారాబోలా టైప్ లో పరావలయ రూపంలో వస్తుంది గ్రాఫ్. ఇది 270 infinite 360 again this is 1. సో దీని రేంజ్ కూడా ఇక్కడ 1 కు 0 కు మధ్యలో లేదు. 1 కు పైన ఉంది, -1 కు కిందికి ఉంది. సో మనం రేంజ్ చూసినప్పుడు సెక్ ఫంక్షన్ ఏముంది, రేంజ్ 1 లేదు ఇక్కడ. -1 to 1 అనేది ఎక్స్క్లూడెడ్. -1 to +1 is excluded in this range. So -1 నుంచి left, +1 నుంచి right. So -1 and +1 interval is excluded. So real number, this -1 +1 is excluded in the range. ఇది తప్ప మిగతాది. So sec and cosec both are ఈ 1 నుంచి ఇన్ఫినిటీ, +1 to infinite and -1 to -infinite. So this is the range. So for cosec also ఇది ఇక్కడ 1 కు పైకి ఉంటుంది, 1 to infinite and -1 to -infinite. సో ఈ రెండిటికి రేంజ్ 1 to +infinite and union -infinity to -1. సో -1 నుంచి కిందికి, +1 నుంచి పైకి. -360 అంటే ఇది ఇన్ఫినైట్, -270 అంటే ఇక్కడ 1. సో -180 ఇన్ఫినైట్, -90 -1. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ -1. 90 is +1. -270 -1. So this is cosec. The range is -1 to -infinity union +1 to +infinity. So this is the range. You can observe, if you draw sine and cos simultaneously in the same graph, this red line is sine graph, blue line is cos graph. You can see sine 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1. So this is the 0 point. So this is sine value red is 0. Cos blue is touching 1. So cos graph for 0 starts from 1. Cos 0 is 1 and sine graph, sine 0, red graph is sine. Sine 0 is 0. So sine at 0 point, sine value is 0 and cos value is 1. So this is 1. And 90 degrees, at 90 degrees, sine value is 1. So this is 90 degrees, sine value is 1, cos value is 0. Cos graph is touching x-axis, that is at 0. Sine is above, it is at 1. 90 degrees, sine 90 is 1, cos 90 is 0. Sine 180 is 0, again at 180 degrees, the red line touches x-axis, that is 0, and blue line touches -1. So this point is -1. Cos 180 is -1. So blue curve is plus, cos is -1 at 180 degrees, and sine is 0 at 180 degrees. Both values are intersecting. You can guess this is 45 degrees. Sine 45 and cos 45 are both are same at 1 by √2. So this point you can note this point. This is same. Sin and cos 45 values are same at this intersecting points, 45 degrees. So again, 225 degrees also, they are intersecting again at this point. So 360, sin 360 is 0 and cos 360 is 1. So this point is 1, this point, and this point is 0. This is 0. So in this way, you can draw sine, cos, or any graph. First, you write down the table, then mark the points on the graph paper, then join them. You will get the required graph of a trigonometric function. So in graphical depiction, if you draw the graph of any function, it will be easy to analyze it. So many things you can understand by observing the graph. So the range and the period. So the period of the function is 2 pi. So this one to this one is 360 degrees. Same reaching, same value, and by observing the curve. So cos, you take the cos, some 0 is 1, again 360 is 1. So this distance is 2 pi. This is, you can, the period of cos is 360, and sine also from 90 to again this point. This is 450. So 90 to 450, 360. For sine and cos, the period is 360. That is 2 pi. You can observe the wave, the graph. This is the period. In physics, you call it as wavelength. So here it is the period of the function. So you can observe these graphs. It will be easy to understand the nature of the function, range, and period. Keep watching all the videos regularly. Prepare notes. So thank you. Thank you for watching these videos, and subscribe this channel for intermediate mathematics and also competitive exams. It is free for all. Thank you. Thank you for watching.